Hello everybody and welcome to the Turtle. This is my first build video. It's my first time really posting on YouTube, so either be really nice, be really mean, leave a comment, like, subscribe, do what you do. So I'm calling this the Chad solo base. It's quite a lot to farm, so it's not for the faint of heart. But anyways, let's get into it. So the start of this base is really simple. It's just two triangles, two half walls, a door frame, and some more walls. It's important that the half wall underneath the door stays out of wood. So it can be chopped out later and used as part of the pixel gap. Let's place a half wall, get on top of it, and this will help us place the TC so we can still place a door. Once you've got the TC placed, you should be able to place a triangle floor, delete the half wall, and this will give you enough room for a large box. Once you've got that placed, you'll be able to place a door frame and another door, and that'll act as an airlock and it'll be harder for you to get deep done. Nice simple two triangles starter base for a solo. Right, now onto the pixel gap. It's really easy to pixel gap this base. It's just a semicircle in triangles, a square, and then 5 squares out in triangles, just like that. Place a square at the end, delete everything you've just built, and then build back to the base using squares until you get to the last one, and then build that semicircle back. Make sure the last triangle is on what you've just built, not on the original TC. Then place your two half walls, place a floor, and that's it. That's the pixel gap completed. Okay, so let's finish the last of this starter. Just place some more triangle foundations to make a circle base, fill in all the walls. The two door frames that I've placed here need to be made out of wood because they'll be chopped out later. Placing these extra 4s here allows plenty of space for boxes, and it's perfect for a starter for a solo. You can live out of this for quite a while until you've had enough time to build up the resources you need for the floor stacking, which can be quite resource intensive. If you're a little bit worried about getting eco raided, it's fine. You can place another door frame here and add a metal door. That should remove any chance of getting eco raided or molly raided. Again, you can replace these for metal doors when you've got them. And that is it for the starter. Okay, so now we're ready for the floor stacking. This can be a little bit awkward, but it is doable with a bit of trial and error. Simply start by placing a square, a semicircle in triangles, build the little extensions off to the side like that. Place the high walls. I place low walls here just to make it a little bit easier for me to line up. I delete all the triangles, place the 2 ramps, upgrade the 1 ramp to stone, and all you do is crouch inside, get your foundation, and it's just a bit of trial and error going backwards and forwards until it lets you place it. It's important not to wiggle it about too much, just do small adjustments, until it lets you place it. And this can take a little bit of time to get right, but it will eventually let you place it. There we go. Just check there that it would let me place all the walls, and it would. And to build back, it's just one square, the rest in triangles, and then build it round. You'll know you've done it right because it'll let you build completely round, and it won't cause any issues. It won't stop you from placing any of them. There we go. And then it has let me place it all, so there's nothing wrong with the floor stack. I can get rid of all the extras that I no longer need. And then just upgrade the new foundations to stone so they can't be easily destroyed. Okay, now it's time for the honeycomb, but I think it's unlikely for a solo to have enough metal frags to upgrade the honeycomb to completely metal. If you don't upgrade it to metal and you seal it off, you won't be able to upgrade it later, and it'll really reduce the amount it'll cost to raid. So what I always do is I always just make a shell at the moment, and what I'll do is I'll place a wood wall, a wood door frame here, and what I'll do is I'll just use this as a first floor entry until I'm ready to completely build the whole honeycomb out of metal. Because the whole base is a half height higher, I do have to do a full wall and a half wall. It does cost a little bit more, but it is part of the build. What I'll then do here is I'll place a temporary jump up. Important note here, when working with floor stacking bases, you've got to place the high floors before you place the low floors. If you try to place the low floor first, it won't let you then place the high floor. What I always recommend doing is building it all into wig well before you upgrade it. I'm just going to go around and place everything. The only ones I place high floors on is the ones without foundations underneath. The one above the bunker, what I'll do is I'll place that as a low one only, and I'll downgrade it and just leave it on wood so it can be chopped out later when the bunker's ready to be placed. In the last clip I made a little bit of a mistake. The triangle on the right of the bunker can have both a high and a low floor. It's the one after that that needs to be left with just a low floor. It's part of the loot room later. If you do forget about it and place both, it's not a major issue. It just affects the loot room a little bit later. Okay, and now with that done, we're ready to finish the honeycomb on the inside. This is assuming that you've saved up the metal required to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to build it and upgrade it to metal. Just to save a little bit of time in the video, I'm going to select it to build out of metal by default, and I'm also going to speed this up. So I've deliberately left the door till last, so we can get rid of that and just build the last external wall. And let's place the last wall down. Okay, and now we're on to the double bunker. I've never seen anybody build this bunker before, so it'd be cool to find out if anybody else actually has built it or if this is my own design. So what you need to do is you need to build a full wall and then a half wall on top. You can now get rid of these wooden doors as well. Now it's important that when you build the other side you place a half wall then a full wall. And then just like a standard floor bunker, what you'll do is you'll place 2 half walls. And that makes just a standard floor bunker where you can place a half wall out of twig and then place the floor on top. It's important on this one that you can place that floor on a high and a low placement, make sure it's placed on the high one so it connects to the twig and not to the side wall. Then what you can do is if you look at the left side wall, you should be able to place a triangle frame. And then if you place a triangle roof, it should then also place on that frame. I'm just going to jump up here and I'm going to build the top door frame. What I'll also do is I'll also use the floor stack. It does take me a second to get this here. You can get both top and bottom floors on. Okay, and to seal the bunker what you need to do is you just place a ladder. You seal the top bunker first, which is already done in the video. You climb the ladder and then you place the half wall out of twig and then the floor, and that's the bunker's sealed. Okay, let's move on to the pixel gap. Let's complete it. If you haven't already, cut out the wood half wall that we placed at the beginning and then upgrade all of the half walls to the HQM and upgrade the floor to metal. This floor will already be there on yours, I accidentally deleted it. Then all you need to do is place the two large boxes underneath. It's important that you don't skin these boxes, as it'll make it harder for them to be seen through the pixel gap. So I've left them skinned in this video just so when I've finished the pixel gap you can see them really easily, but again, make sure you don't skin them. Also remember to lock the boxes before you seal the bunker, and then upgrade them to HQM, and that's the pixel gaps done. Now on to the second floor. The way I always do the second floor is I always build the walls first. I just cover them all in walls so I can work out where I want the doors to go, just to make sure I get the doors in the right place first time. So the first door wants to go here, and the other side door goes here. So let's build the jump up on this side. That will become a loot room later. Just going to place a door frame here for an airlock. Door frames can be a little bit awkward to place because of the floor stack. If you need to, just move around a little bit and you should be able to get it on any section. That's the jump up for the other side. And if we place this half wall with a window, it's a bit awkward to place again because of the floor stacking. That'll become one of our inner peaks later. And same again on this side, we're going to place a half wall, a full wall, and a window. Again, that will become another one of our inner peaks. And with that built, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some door frames down just for stability. And now we're going to seal up the second floor. Remember, we have to place the high floors before we place the low floors. Okay, so apologies again, I made one more mistake in the build. I'm fairly certain this is the last one. When making the jump ups from the second floor to the first floor, the third floor, you need to make sure they always go to the right. So you come up and turn right to jump in. It just makes it so it connects to the bedroom correctly. I'm just going to do that on both sides now. Okay, and back to the second floor now, after that little edit. Let's just seal up the inner peaks as the last thing to do. Place a half wall, place a door frame on top, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to build a little twig jump up for temporary access. And what we'll do is we'll just chop that out later. And to seal it, you just need to place a half wall and place a roof, and that's the inner peak sealed. Now remember to do the other one. So now, because we've got a second floor entry, we need to build a temporary jump up. And what I do is I just build this little structure, leave it out with wood, and again, I'll chop it out later once we build the wide gaps. So while I was building, I completely forgot to utilize the floor stack and add the second layer of flooring to each floor. I also didn't do it in the bunker, so I'm going to quickly do that now in the video. Remember to do this as early as possible, because again it increases the raid cost. So now we're ready to expand again. Because of the way the bunker sits, we need to add some additional honeycomb. I'll show you why now. So when we place this triangle roof bunker, if you look from the outside, you can clearly see the bunker. That would tell raiders straight away where they need to go through to avoid that. So what I need to do is we need to just add some standard triangle honeycomb. Of course at this point, but if you don't want to expand yet, by all means feel free to upgrade the base as and when you can. The more it costs to raid earlier, the better. And again, I'll do the honeycomb on both sides to keep the base symmetrical. Feel free to upgrade the base as much as you want to metal or high quality for the core. The next major expansion is the 4 external TCs and all the wide gapping for the base. This is going to cost quite a bit, so it may take some time to farm for it. But let's start on the smaller TCs first. The wide gap for this is simple, it's just 3 squares and then triangles back. Standard wide gap. What I'll actually do is I'll keep these triangles and I will build door frames on them and connect to the top. And then I'll place another door frame here, and the high external wall I actually clip through the 2 frames. Then I'll continue this half circle, this square, and then 2 triangles, and this will let me place the TC. I always seal my TCs off with a window. These need to be half walls to make the TC disconnectable, and then a door just for that extra raid cost. And then I'll get rid of everything I've built, and I'll copy the exact same layout but using frames instead. And what this allows, it can place a square and then place a roof, and it would disconnect it if you get raided. You can get your base back really easily without having to rebuild TCs. You need to do this on both sides, but for the sake of the video I'm only going to do it on one. Okay, and I'm back. What we need to do now is we need to do the large TCs with the main wide gaps. To do that, all we're going to do is go over to the corner, place a square, a triangle, 2 squares and another triangle, delete it all and build it back with triangles just to make a standard wide gap to a corner. What I then do is I get rid of all the triangles and place a square back. I'll then place triangles off to the side, which is what I'll use to actually build the wide gaps. For the gatehouse, what I'll do is I'll build a square out, triangle each side, and this will build a jump up gatehouse. I believe it was Alone in Tokyo that designed these initially. I like them because it offers enough room for 2 Dropbox storages and 3 turrets. I also placed windows to face into the compound, and these half walls swapped out for low walls to face outside the compound. you can see, it offers a really good peek outside. I then build the external TC just like I did before. Half circle, a square, 2 triangles. And place your TC inside, seal it off with a window. Place your 2 half walls and the door frame. Now because we've built the gatehouse half higher, we have to do the same to the external TC. And then destroy the floors. Apart from the one closest to the gatehouse, I keep that just so I can jump in and out of the gatehouse easier. And then connect it using the standard frames. So that's the gatehouse and the external TC done on one side. Now we just need to do it on the other side. Okay, so I've completed the other side. As you can see, now we just need to finish the wide gaps. So all we do is we go down to one of the external gatehouses. And from the square, we just build triangles off all the way down. And then 1 square, 1 more triangle, and that's it. Delete what's left over, that's not needed. Do the same on the other side. Again, 1 square, and delete. Then move to the other gatehouse and just rinse and repeat. And one last time, delete everything that's left over. Okay, now time to add the permanent jump ups. Now, depending on how the server sits, you can either have high foundations like this, but what I tend to do is place half walls and then place floors on top of it. Personally, I just think it looks a bit neater. I don't add half walls to the corners, just so you can get a little bit of a different peak. What I'll do is I'll build door frames up too high so it matches the shooting floor, and then I'll place windows on top. The corners get double windows because they're half a floor down. Okay, and that's one side done. I'm just going to continue to do this all the way around. Apart from these single small TCs, I build it up too high so it's half a floor down. I'll then place 2 windows just like before. I'll place a raised ramp. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop down, place a square floor off the wall, then I'll place a full wall, 2 half walls, and I'll do that on both sides. This is a little bit more awkward and a bit more complex, but it does offer a nice peak, and it also offers the roof peaks. On top of those half walls, I'll put windows. I'll then add some extra door frames for stability. There's another half wall, another window facing inwards for a roof peak, and then drop down and delete the bottom half wall and put in a low wall, and do that on both sides. And then you can delete everything else. Okay, now that's done. The next thing to do is the bedroom on the shooting floor. I always start by placing the doors next to the jump ups. And then I will place the wall. I use this little half height as my roof access. And again, I just seal it using standard walls. I add this little bit extra just to make it symmetrical. You should know you've done it right because you should have a half circle on either side and a full circle in the middle, and that'll be the bedroom. what I'm going to do is I'm just going to seal this off. Again, I'm placing the high ceilings before I place the low ones. Now, you may have some stability issues at the moment. This will be fixed when we add a few more door frames a bit later on. Okay, so next is the inner peaks. So let's just drop down into one of them. What I do is I take 2 furnaces, and that lets me have a jump up to see through the window. What I then get is a locker. Now I know I placed the locker here, but I completely forgot about putting the garage door down. I'm just going to get rid of that locker now and place the garage door. Shout out to Ginger Beardy for this amazing garage door. Okay, and now I'm just going to place the locker down and also place a bag in here. The bag can be a little bit awkward to place, but if you move around on top of the furnaces you will be able to place it. And then what we need is a embrasure. And what we're going to do is we're going to place it on the inside, because that should block off the top floor but still give us a good peek onto the bottom floor. Now my gaps are slightly large in this build. If you build your floor stacking a little bit smaller you'll have a little bit better of a peak, but as you can see I've still got more than enough in this one. So that's one inner peak done, just need to do the other one. So I've now done the other one. As you can see it's identical and it offers a great peak. What I'll also do is I'll also place a locker in this little open core on the second floor just to hide that bunker. The bunker can't be there when you place this, and you need to place it a little bit off the wall, otherwise when you place the bunker it'll destroy the locker again. Okay, so we've came quite a long way. There's only a little bit left of this build. So what's next is we need to finish the shooting floor just a little bit more by adding embrasures. You can also add boxes as a little jump up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab an embrasure. I always place them on the outside of the window, and through the magic of editing it's all done. So next we just need to seal off the top of the shooting floor, and the way I do this is I'm just going to add a few more door frames on the lower foundations for stability. You'll see here that I've accidentally clipped that door frame onto the higher foundation. I'll just drop down, look a bit further down, and it'll clip it to the lower one. And again, just continue to place all these low floors. And that should give you the stability that you need to finish the low floors inside the bedroom as well. What I do now is I just continue to build it out. What I'll normally do is I'll normally drop around, place the door frames following the shooting floor around to give it as much stability as possible, especially if I'm planning on placing windmills. Again, just gonna follow the shooting floor around and place these door frames. And that's the shooting floor all sealed. So next up I'm going to build the heli garage. It's just a standard jump up with a single door facing out onto the roof. What I like to do as well is I like to place a few windows just so I can look out in case I try to jump into my heli and there's someone potentially door camping the roof if I haven't got turrets down. what I do is I place a single door there for a vending machine, and I'll place a single door here so I don't always have to open my garage door. What you may find here is you might have a few stability issues placing the low floors. So what I'll normally do is I'll normally place them on the high floors. Again, you might have a few stability issues placing high floors as well at this point, especially in the middle because of the open core loot room. What you can do is you can drop down, place a door frame here on the high foundation and a door frame there on the lower foundation, and what that should do is it should give you the stability you need to place the last few ceilings to seal up any gaps. And that's it, that's the heli garage done. So next we need to finish is the roof peaks, and what we're going to do is we're just going to jump into one of them. We're going to place a square frame, grab a square ladder hatch, just place that in, and then you can jump up into it, place the embrasures on the outside, and that will give you the roof peaks, and you need to do that on both sides. Last but not least is the mushroom roof. What I always do is I place full roofs on anything that sits higher, and then I'll place a full roof next to those ones, as you can see here. And then in between the full roof, what I'll do is I'll place a triangle one, but I'll place it back over on itself. That won't connect these, so the conditional roof will never take over, and it just gives you quite a lot of nice little peaks on the roof as well as your shooting floor. And that's it for the build. All you need to do now is the usual: doors, windows, compound, etc. I hope you enjoyed the base, and I hope it serves you well. See you in the next one.